On December 15th, 2020, Apple released the AirPods Max. But right now, the AirPods Max is lagging behind the competition. So what happened? Did Apple just give up on it? Or are they cooking up something extreme? Let's find out. Let's get into the launch facts. Right now, and even at launch, the AirPods Max costs $549. Yeah, $549, while other high-quality headphones cost $300 or maybe even $200. So why so expensive? One of the reasons is because it's Apple. We all know how expensive Apple really does their things, like with the Apple Vision Pro. That thing is overpriced. So obviously this is going to be overpriced too. But it's worth noting that the materials were actually very premium. They put stainless steel on headphones, and that's not something that you see even today. That stainless steel, while it is premium, it also is very expensive compared to like just using normal plastic on headphones like most companies did. Not only did they use stainless steel, they also had aluminum and a mesh headband. These materials also caused the AirPods Max to be very, very heavy compared to its competitors at the time and even today. Real quick, let's get into the spec sheet because you gotta understand how technology in a way advanced the AirPods Max was compared to its competitors. 40mm drivers, double H1 chips, adaptive ANC, noise cancellation and transparency, spatial audio with dynamic head tracking, and on top of that, just 20 hours of battery life. For those who use the AirPods Max today, because I know I've seen a lot of people still using it, I'm pretty sure that's kind of painful. But it's also worth noting that there's a lot of headphones today where people don't have to keep charging their headphones every single day. And it's also worth noting that even though there's no actually official Gen 2 that came out yet, they did do a refresh in 2024 where they added some more colors and they changed the Lightning port to a USB-C port. So that kind of extended its battery life. So here's what people liked about the AirPods Max, or at least what people still like about it, because it's still alive, I guess you could say. People like the fact that it had spacious, detailed sound, and that if you are deep in the Apple ecosystem, it's the best integration. With that integration comes seamless switching between devices. So if you have your phone and you're listening something on it, and then you decide to pause what's on your phone and then play something on your Mac, let's say, it's going to automatically switch from your phone to your Mac. It's going to notify you, but it's just going to happen seamlessly. It had spatial audio, like I said before, so people like that about it too. And it also had cloud pairing. Now, here are the downsides. For one, it's way more heavier, like I said, because of that stainless steel, and the aluminum too, because most headphones back then didn't really have aluminum, and most of them just used plastic. The battery life was not to standards at all. 20 hours of battery life, that was not good at all. The smart case was also very useless, and there was a huge gap in a lot of places, so it wasn't even really protecting your headphones. And then after that, it was way more expensive than competitors. $549, like I said before. The most expensive headphones, there were $500 headphones, but those weren't really worth noting. But most of them were $200 and $300. At the same time, I will cut the AirPods Max some slack, because while $549 is way too overpriced for most people anyway, this was Apple we were talking about, and Apple's just known for premium devices. Apple's just known for premium stuff. So on top of that, they actually use premium materials instead of the more or less cheap plastic, you could say. Except the other headphones, the plastic doesn't even really actually feel cheap. But the fact that you have stainless steel on your headphones and that it's premium, I guess most people will like that, even though it just makes the phone way more heavier. Now, I've been talking about the competitors, but I haven't listed them yet. So the main competitors that actually gave the AirPods Max some competition was the Sony XM4s, which in my opinion were the kings back then, just like the XM6s are the kings today, and the Bose QC35-2s, and the QC45s. The Sony XM4s, like I said, were the kings, especially in active noise cancellation. These things were, in my opinion, unbeatable, and they were $350. You see the giant price gap? I'm pretty sure most people decided to go for the XM4s instead of the AirPods Max. Because honestly, I would pick the XM4s in a heartbeat. Sure, the AirPods Max could turn their drivers, but they couldn't actually fold, and that really made it hard to carry around. The Bose QC35-2s were actually the king of comfort. The only reason the XM4s were the king was because the XM4s had better overall features and were pretty comfortable too. But it's just worth noting that these two actually sold more than the AirPods Max. The XM4s actually sold around 7 to 8 million, and the Bose QC35-2s actually sold over 10 million, while the AirPods Max in this time period only sold around 1 million. At least this is what Google says. Fast forward to today, 2025, even though I'm posting this at the end of the year, but it's around the same time that the AirPods Max was released, Apple owns Beats now. So now they have more headphones to actually upgrade and to actually focus on. So now that means the Beats Studio Pros are actually competing with the AirPods Max, which is also Apple's product, but the Beats Studio Pros are Apple's product. Talk about irony. They're $249, making them very budget friendly because most of these top tier headphones these days are in like $400, $300, and you don't really see high quality $200 headphones anymore. But the Beats Studio Pros are actually very high quality, they're very comfortable, and because Apple makes them now and designs them, they actually integrate very well into the Apple ecosystem. The Sony XM6, which in my opinion are unbeatable, are $460, but they brought back the folding, which they took away in the XM5, and just made it better in general. These things beat everything in transparency, noise cancellation, even spatial audio now. Everything about these headphones are premium. There's no slack. The Bose QC Ultras are $430, so that means they're only $30 less than the XM6. And once again, these things were designed mostly for comfort. So I'm not saying the audio quality is bad, but they really focus more on comfort. It makes sense because QC actually stands for quiet comfort. And then yet another Apple competitor inside Apple, the AirPods Pro 3. These things actually just got announced in September, and these things are Apple's main headphones. These are Apple's main focus, and these are Apple's most advanced headphones right now. The reason I say these are Apple's most advanced headphones, even though these aren't over-ear headphones, and over-ear headphones still have higher quality audio, because these are earbuds and there's not much space for bass and things like that, is because Apple actually packed these with everything. Apple claims that these earbuds have the world's best noise cancellation, and it makes sense that they sold over 15 million units. These things have Apple's newest H chip. They have, like I said before, the world's best noise cancellation. These things actually have health features now, which the AirPods Max does not have. And these things have Apple Intelligence with live translation and an updated Siri, which the AirPods Max still does not have. So in 2025, the big question is the AirPods Max still worth it? Here are the strengths in 2025. These are still the best Apple integration. Even though the Beats Studio Pros have very good Apple integration now, they've still got that premium sound, they've still got that premium design, and they've still got the premium materials. In my opinion, the weaknesses actually outweigh the strengths. First of all, the battery life is actually half of the Beats Studio Pros. These are 20 hours, the Beats Studio Pros are 40 hours. They're heavier than all of their main competitors, and there's still no high-res wired mode and new sensors. Now here's the big question that caused me to even make this video in the first place. Why is there still no Gen 2? Well, one of the main reasons is that over-ear headphones have a very slow refresh rate. Usually they refresh every 3 to 5 years. Over 3 to 5 years sometimes. Also, the over-ear headphones category isn't that big in general in 2025. Earbuds are the main thing. Most companies focus on their earbuds. For example, Samsung still doesn't have an actual premium over-ear headphones. Sure, they've got wired headphones and they've got earbuds, but they don't have high competition over-ear headphones. Maybe that's for a reason. It's kind of like minivans. Sure, you see a lot of minivans on the street, but there's only 3 main minivan competitors. These days. And then the third reason I say is that the USB-C refresh in 2024 actually extended the first generation's lifespan, because the main complaint was that they still use lightning ports, but the fact that Apple updated it to USB-C means that you don't have to keep any lightning chargers around, especially considering none of Apple's other new products still use lightning ports. Everything is USB-C now, so I guess that fits in. I guess all we can do now is wait to see what Apple is going to do with the Gen 2, if they're even going to release one.